Hello, hello. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth Raven, News by Raven, joined by my Santa Claus co-host this week, Chris Hall.
Hello, everybody.
And everything's kind of screwed up this week. Found out my medications aren't working, and my A1C was almost 2 points higher than the last time they tested it. So that's not good. Took the kitty to the vet, our favorite midnight monster, and he was supposed to get his regular fluids, and something didn't seem right today. And my dad finally decided to tell me that the cat hadn't had a bowel movement for the last week. So I had to have them get x-rays, see much, find out what's going on. And of course, the cat's impacted. So he's overnight at the vet getting treatment for that. But it might be time that we'll be saying goodbye to him soon. It's really bad. Not just the impactment, but when they did the x-rays, of course, they x-rayed the kidneys. And from a year ago when they first discovered the problems and stuff, it looks really bad. And there's nothing they can really do for him because it's cancer. And you can't just, it's just impossible to do a surgery on a kidney of a cat and
Right.
do stuff. So we don't have that kind of technology, unfortunately. And they're still gonna give him IVs and try to get him cleared out. And after that, they're gonna weigh him and see what he weighs because he keeps losing weight as well. And so, depending on how all that goes overnight and tomorrow, we'll see. But I don't know. So I'm a little bit off my game today, to say the least. How's your week been?
It's been okay. It's been hectic, but it's been pretty good. I can't complain. I'm really sorry you're going through that. We're all pulling for midnight.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's inevitable. We know this. We've known that for a while, and I was told he might have till the end of the year, and here we are at the end of the year. So,
yeah,
it's just I wasn't expecting it right this minute amongst everything else I'm doing, but that's what happens usually. So, anyway, this week we got some stuff in the mail for unboxings, and we've got some stuff to recommend to you for last minute Christmas shopping for your favorite comics, manga, horror fan sorts. But first, let's start with the lovely package I got from lulu.com. Now, you see this box, you see it's a little bit damaged, right? So, okay, not that big of a deal. Till you flip it around. Now, they had the books themselves. Just give me a second. I have to get my wand to reach to that thing. They had the books inside a little, sealed package like this. But they taped the back of this to this open spot to make it look like it was solid. I was not pleased, to say the least. Now, the books were not damaged. I'm going to give them credit for that, but that's not how you send a package.
It is not.
Yeah. So what did we get from Lulu? Well, we got this.
So question though is that who shipped it? Was it UPS or was it was the Postal Service or what?
Oh heck. USPS brown printed matter.
Okay, so the post office. So I wonder if it's possible that they did that.
Yeah, it's possible, but either way, it's just not cool.
Right.
Anyway,
Exactly.
so what do we get in this little package? Well, we got this book from Classic Comics, 100 big pages, called Gen Ken Pond. It says classic manga styled English comics, right? Well,
Yes, it does.
but that doesn't really look like manga, does it?
It doesn't look like manga at all.
Right. What's in here? Okay, well, this kind of sort of looks like manga in a way. It's at least Japanese themed of the
Right.
content. Okay, cool, no problem. Then we get this weird. This looks like 2000 AD stuff.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it very much does.
Now, here's the good part. Doomsday Plus One by John Byrne.
Okay.
Yeah, it keeps going with the weirdness of anything but manga in here. And there's nothing in this book that says what it's supposed to be, who's other storytellers or anything. Very, very strange. Cool. This is actually Walt Simonson.
You can't go wrong with Walt.
Yeah. So it's not like there's stuff in here that's bad. All the stories are good as far as the stories themselves, but none of the people are actually listed in the credits. It's like they removed all the credits, and none of this is manga at all. So I cannot recommend classic comics.
It kind of looks like they just threw some buzzwords on the cover to sell it.
Yeah. The next book is Detour number 11. It fell from Earth, or fell from the sky. It's an anthology book. I haven't had a chance to look at this one yet. We'll get a chance to review that in the future. We got Trash Man from minicomics.com. This is by, I don't say who, but I don't know. But again, a lot of this is print on demand, so it's kind of like you kind of wonder. But we'll check it out and give you a review later. Now, this I know who this stuff is to. I got a bunch of pace setters. This is the George Perez fan magazine. And I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11 of them. I basically finished up my collection to get the complete run. And so there's a lot of articles from the publisher and other people that are just doing tribute pieces, or what they like about George's work. And there's a lot of interesting little sketches and designs by George, of course,
Oh, very nice.
in there. And they talk about the action figures that were based in this issue. They talk about the action figures that were based on his designs. So there's a lot of different things in here. And there's other things like he did a lot of theatrical work. He did a lot of character designs and poster designs for theater and film. More low budget film type stuff he was doing himself. But it's a side of George that most fans, hardcore George Perez fans know, but the casual comics fans don't necessarily know about.
Right.
And there's some of the
I mean, the casual George Perez fans, you know, they pretty much think that he's just that's the guy that puts like 52 characters on a page.
and then there's just some more of those theaters that posters he was making.
Those are really cool.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff in here that thing, and that was just one issue. This was issue number 12. Of course, I've got, like I said, I got 10 of them. I'm not going to show every one. And then we got Bronze Age Heroes mini comics, which is the same people as Classic Comics, I would tell you. I have no idea what's in this. And again, God forbid that you actually put a credits list on who did what here. The first story is by Drury Monroe and drawn by Ron Ross, apparently, called The Eclipse. Looks like classic 60s type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. Looks reasonably decent. We got Wild Man and Rubber Boy by Greg Green and Howard Kuttner. It almost looks like a Don Simpson type thing,
A
doesn't
little
it?
bit, yeah, a little bit.
But not quite when you start looking at the rest of the story. It's not
kind of falls apart a little bit.
Yeah, it's not quite as strong as Don. We've got a classic questions reprint in here by Steve Ditko, written by Michael Uslan with a plot by Roger Stern. This is probably from when they did the question for contemporary pictorial literature for the fanzine.
Look at all that glorious black.
Yeah. So there's some cool stuff there. There's quite a bit of interesting little things in here, and I'm going to enjoy looking at it overall. But again, I wish they would credit people properly, at the beginning with the credits page.
Right.
If you're going to do an anthology type thing, they probably should. But maybe they don't, because by acknowledging the crediting and all that, they probably owe these creators money. I hate to say, but it's probably true. This is Astron Star Soldier by Tom Sciacca, with a bunch of different cool people in there. But it has a very nice 70s, late 60s, early 70s feel to this stuff.
Right.
I'm looking forward to reading those eventually. So that's part of what I got from Lulu.com. I also got a Turtles comic that had featured the comic book strips from the UK that were never released in the United States. But I got that specifically for a friend of mine for a Christmas gift, and I just gave that to her today. So they've got it now, and I don't have that to show, but that's okay.
I bet you she was thrilled.
She was like, "What is this? I don't know what this is." I said, "Yeah, this is over." Well, I guess I haven't gone over to Europe yet. I'm gonna go buy what's in Europe. The other thing I got, of course, is from Compass Comics. That is our friend Graham Nolan. And that is Return to Monster, Escape from Monster Island.
Beautiful cover.
Yeah. And there's bookmarks and other things in the back here. Let's see if I can get this thing to open without tearing too much. Okay, that's good. It's a thicker book. Probably about 48 to 64 pages. Greg Wright colors with Carlos Mangral. And since we know it's Gregory Wright, we know it's going to be colored well.
Of course.
So
very nice.
And this is kind of it's interesting because he's really switching over to a more classic cartoonist look than the stuff that he did for DC on the regular. Do you see what I'm saying by that?
Yeah, I like the I like that kind of cartoony style. Wow.
So
That spaceship is gorgeous.
yeah. Now, of course, I have not had a chance to read this, and I'll get that read probably for January. Most of this stuff I'm going to probably have to wait till January for reading. But that is what I got for our unboxings. What did you think of those, Chris?
I thought they were all really nice. Yeah, very, very cool stuff.
Anyway, gotta get this out now. Just get out of here.
Done with that box. Done with that box.
Yeah, it's a mess. But anyway, so people have been asking us, or asking me, I should say, what would I buy for like beginning manga fans? And that's what we were supposed to do on Monday, was like recommendations for manga. And then yesterday was supposed to be our recommendations for crowdfunding and other things like that. And unfortunately, because of recent events with my health and the cat's health, we didn't do the last 2 days. So Chris and I threw something together, basically, at the last moment. We wrangled an episode here. So hopefully you'll like what we've picked. But Chris sort of misunderstood the assignment.
I did. I didn't realize it was manga. I thought it was just Christmas graphic novels.
Yeah. Well, holiday season anyway. Yes, and well, it didn't have to be manga. It could be. I told you it could be anything, But as far as whatever you wanted to promote. So I just thought, but you took it as holiday themed, and I thought that was a really cool tactic, actually. So I said, yeah, we'll go with that. That's good. So let's get started with Amulet Book 9 Collection, publisher Scholastic Graphics. It costs between $110 and $125 cover. For the box set, I got mine for sale at $85. The creator is Kazu Ibushi. Genre is fantasy adventure. This was released in February 2024. What it's about: after tragedy strikes their family, Emily and Navin move their mother into the old mysterious home of their great-grandfather. On their first night in a strange house, however, Emily and Navin's mother is kidnapped by a tentacled creature. Determined to rescue her, Emily and Navin are led into a world of robots, talking animals, flying ships, new friends, and enemies. Emily learns that she is a stone keeper and essential to the survival of this alternate world, and that her incredible story is only just beginning. As Emily and Navin try to save their mother from the coma that she's been in since she was captured by the arachnopod, they find there are many other dangers abound in this strange world. Will they be able to save their mother and get back to our world, or their own world? Hold on a minute. Here we go. Is that down? Here we go. Why did I select this one? Well, I selected this because Kazu Kibushi is one of the best American manga creators of all time and is criminally underlooked in the so-called mainstream comic scene in this country, that being the U.S. While he's made the best New York Times bestseller list with each volume, if I were to walk into a typical comic shop and request this series, I would get, huh? What? What are you talking about? I don't know that book. Another reason I recommend this is because with this box set, you get the entirety of the series in one purchase. It's a sizable enough story for each volume for what you're paying. Each book would probably last a child a good 2-3 weeks worth of reading time. So you're getting a good chunk of product for your dollar. And it isn't the ridiculous level of commitment that prominent manga titles like Dragon Ball Z or One Piece or even My Hero Academia that have 40, 50, 100, few hundred volumes to collect, you don't have to worry about that. You get the whole 9-book set and you got the whole story. So that's why I selected this one. I didn't have time to go grab it. I actually have my box set. I started reading these when I was getting them from the library. So I've read them, but I bought a box set and I haven't even taken it out of the shrink wrap. It might go to our co-host, John, for his niece someday. I'm not sure yet. Not this year, but it might be next year. Should be ready for it. I'll have to ask him about that. But it's just, I think that would be a good product, But yeah, that's my first selection of the night. Our next book is Astro Boy. I'll let you read this one.
All right, this is Astro Boy, the trade paperback, $14.95, publisher Dark Horse Edition, 2008. Creator Osamu Tezuki. Genre action, adventure, manga, science fiction. Publication date is September 10th, 2008. Age range of 12 plus. Dark Horse says it's 14 plus. What it's about. Astro Boy was the first manga series to be adapted to animation and became a worldwide phenomenon, making Astro Boy the Mickey Mouse of anime. A jet-powered, super-strong, evil robot-bashing, alien invasion-smashing Mickey Mouse, that is. Exciting, whimsical, and touching. Astro Boy harkens back to the classic era of comics and animation, featuring stories that readers young and old will enjoy. The special edition combines the first 2 volumes of the collected Astro Boy, featuring over 400 story pages in one value-priced collection.
Okay. Yeah, why did I pick this one? Actually, there's more. I'll go ahead and read the rest to continue. Astro Boy, sometimes simply called Astro, is a powerful android created by the head of the Ministry of Science, Dr. Tenma, known as Dr. Astor Boynton II in the 1960s English dubbed version, and Dr. Boynton in the 1980s English anime. Dr. Tenma created Astro to replace his son Tobio, who was killed in a car accident. Now, there are various versions of how and why Tobio was killed in the accident between the manga, the anime, and the live-action CGI versions of the story over the years. But it's not that important. He built and adapted Astro in Tobio's memory and treats Astro as lovingly as if he were the real Tobio. Tezuka created this character to be a 21st century Pinocchio, a nearly perfect robot who strove to become more human and emotive to serve as an interface between man and machine. Now, the reason that Dark Horse kind of makes it 14 and up is this book was produced in an era in the 60s where there were depictions of racially sensitive subject matter. And the English translators felt it was inappropriate to remove it or alter it because the creator Tezuka had passed away in 89. Okay? And so they can't, remove it without altering the author's intent.
Right.
And they can't ask him, so they just leave it as it is. So partly for those reasons, like I said, that's why they give it 14 plus for Dark Horse. I give it a 12 because that seems to be the rating in the Japanese version. I recommend the book based on its historical significance to manga and anime, the cultural significance that Tezuka was creating via the work, because this would become a key scientific symbol character in Japanese robotics and their study of artificial intelligence, influencing over 4 generations of scientists rather. And because it's a book that both children and adults can read and get different levels of context in the story and have conversations with each other about the different themes and elements of the stories. And I think that's important in comics today. Okay. Our next book is Atom Cat, which is also by Osamu Tezuka. This was published by Digital Manga in 2013. And this is basically a remix of Astro Boy. Reading the Astro Boy comic book with his dad as Tsukio is one's refuge from the bullies at his school. One day he finds an abandoned kitten and names it after the robot hero, Astro, to convince his family to keep it. But Tsuki and his cat are then hit by a car driven by aliens disguised as humans. In order to revive the cat, the aliens probe Tsuki's memory and return his cat into Atom Cat, a cat with the powers of Astro Boy. Sworn to secrecy, Tsukio and Earth's tiniest hero together fight raging fires, awaken mummies, and more. If Astro Boy is too mature for your youngster, this version of the story, while certainly meta and related to Astro Boy, is more cute and doesn't seem to have the same racial undertones that Tezuka had in the original Astro Boy series. It's also a standalone book without further commitment to buy, and it offers your young one a chance to think about animal character comics as well. There are many manga series about cats that I could talk about, where it's just about the silly behaviors that cats partake in their everyday existence and their interactions with humans, and most of them are all hilarious and enjoyable comics, but kids like action and superhero stuff, so this is a reasonable compromise. And then if you like the Adam Cat stuff, maybe direct them towards the other cat manga that's out there, which you can look up on Google. Okay. Next one is DC Universe's Christmas from 1995. Various artists and writers. Genre holiday superhero stories, released December 4th, 2000. Well, it's about collecting 17 tales from 1939 through 1999. This time-stone allows the reader to experience the Yuletide season and affects the men, or how the Yuletide season affects the men and women who have dedicated their lives to self-sacrifice and thankless heroism. Namely, the ones who wear spandex. Anyway, features Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Wonder Woman, Flash, Poison Ivy, and Harley Quinn. This book includes stories that vary in tone from somber to hysterical and cheerful. Sorry, I got someone was distracting me in a different window. Anyway, not only a wonderful holiday read, it's a great retrospective of DC Comics' publishing history. Why I selected it? Basically to get a book in because Chris selected the holiday theme and ran with it. And and he picked the Marvel selection, so we needed a DC one as well. But there really are some really nice classic stories in this volume. I highly recommend it. If I didn't have most of them already in the singles, I would probably get a copy of this. Yeah, it's quite a deal for $20. I think you get your money's worth. Might be a little hard to find since it was published 25 years ago, but if you look hard enough for it, you should be able to still get it in print.
Very nice.
Our next book is Hooky, volumes 1 through 3 for $15.99 each. Publisher Webtoons, HarperCollins. Creator Miriam Banastre Tour. Genre fantasy, released from 2021 to 2023. There might be a fourth volume since this, but I'm not sure what it's about. When Danny and Dorian missed the bus to magic school, they never thought they'd wind up declared traitors to their own kind. Now, thanks to a series of mishaps, they are being chased by the powerful magic families seeking their prophesized king of witches and royals searching for missing princes. But they aren't alone, with a local troublemaker and princess and a teacher who can see the future on their side. They might just be able to clear their names, but can they heal their torn kingdom? This is from the beloved webcomic from Webtoon. It's stunning print format for the first time, with all new exclusive content to please fans new and old. Why did I select this? This is the volume 2 cover. This is one of the most popular comic series on Webtoon. We don't talk enough about Webtoon, but it's a very popular series. It's got that kind of gothic look to it a little bit there in the styles. It's readily available at most chain bookstores, Target, and Walmart, so it should be very easy to come by and find. I regularly see the series offered in these venues. So the book can appeal to both manga and non-manga audiences, though Tour Styles does lean more towards the fandom of the manga YA crowd. But I think it's a good option away from, say, Harry Potter, if you've become a little bit anti-Rowling due to her social commentaries and politics. And I don't blame you if you have. But I'm just saying, if you don't want to get your kid Harry Potter, this might be a good option as an alternative. To my knowledge, Tour has no political-based controversies. I did look online for some, couldn't find any. I do think she's been a little bit outspoken about fan fiction or fan art abusing her property and trying to make money off her stuff. Uh, but I
Can't
can't.
blame her.
But every author has a bone to pick about people making money off of our properties without compensation or without our permission.
Right.
But I think this is just a good entryway book to the manga YA scene for young readers and early teens, and it looks fun. All right, Chris.
All right. This is a Marvel Holidays to Astonish. Publisher Marvel. Writers Daniel Kibblesmith, Jean Lune Yang, Jerry Duggan. Artists Dylan Burnett, Pat Olife, and Phil Noto. Colorist John Calise and Phil Noto. Cover artist Leonardo Romero. Genre superhero holiday stories. Released December 4th, 2024. What it's about. Holiday hijinks in the mighty Marvel Manor. First, you're invited to the Fantastic Four's holiday party. But who are the uninvited guests? Then, in a tale of Hanukkah's past, can Kitty Pryde scramble to save the day while struggling to shop for gifts for her merry X-Men? And ring in the new year with Peter Parker and Miles Morales as only Spider-Man can. So I kind of misunderstood the assignment. I thought we were specifically going for holiday-themed comics, but we rarely cover Marvel, so why not suggest a standalone title like this one? The story seemed to be lighthearted enough, and it celebrates Hanukkah with Kitty Pryde. It might have been interesting to see how other cultures also celebrate the holidays, but you have to have characters that the fans like, so,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I imagine if they put a Ms. Marvel story in and showed the Indian culture,
yeah,
how they celebrate Christmas. I do not like this cover. The reason I don't like the cover is the proportion of the thing to the tree. The thing is only 6 foot tall. That has to be a very small tree, but yet Johnny Storm's not that short.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's not a good design there. Now the actual figure, if they just put the tree higher up and done a little bit different blocking for the logo design, I think it would have been fine. But it is what it is. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not like the art as far as the style or the figure designs are bad. I just kind of wish they had done the proportions a little bit more accurate.
It's just a little bit of a giant-sized thing.
Yeah. So, yeah. Other than that. Okay, next one, Chris.
All right. Mother Christmas, Volume 1. Publisher Rosarium Publishing. Writer Valia Duditz. Lupescu. Okay. Artist Victoria Terra, aka Kennedy.
Yep.
Genre holiday mythology fantasy. Release date November 1st, 2022. What it's about. It's the one story of magic and wonder everyone thinks they know, yet the most epic part of the tale remains shrouded in mystery. What actually happened 1,800 years ago to transform a starry-eyed young priest named Nicholas into a winter wizard destined to circle the world on a sleigh of hope? Now, the secret is revealed. She happened. This is the story of Amara, one of the legendary muses of the house of Polyhymnia, sent by the muses to a small town in ancient Lycia. Amara sees something special in Nicholas's kindness and generosity. As she prefers to defend humankind against the Kobolai, creatures who feed on fear and chaos, she senses this young man may be the partner she needs to stand against.
Hold on a minute. My phone's doing something stupid. All right. Okay. All right.
Their growing power. But binding her fate and her magic to St. Nicholas will mean breaking the laws of the muses and risking their eternal wrath. Well, for one thing, I thought they were going for holiday themed specific items. So, for another, when I came across this, it really spoke to me about not just the mythology of St. Nicholas, but is giving an interesting new perspective that is historically accurate to the original tales, but was removed from the story over the centuries as Christianity removed the pagan elements. Having this come from a Ukrainian writer, a Brazilian artist as a team, this also gives a more worldly perspective and presentation than what we might find from American or even UK European creators. The art's very nice. I think Tara does some wonderful color work that has some sort of ethereal sensibility, but is still quite grounded in the natural world.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see that in the cover here. The way she does the wisps of wind blowing around, um, and the way she does the. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. The toys in the bag. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for this art. This is just gorgeous.
Yeah, and then you got the Muse disc as well. So it's like this is a really nice work. I need to get a copy of this. I was looking at it online because I this is something I hadn't heard of. So I'm going to see if I can get a copy of this for a review next year. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's nice. We didn't get Nausicaa put it up right or something. Oh no, yes, we're fine. There we go. Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind. Trade paperback, volume 1. Publisher, Viz Media. Creator, Hayao Miyazaki. Genre, fantasy, science fiction. Originally released in 2004, but there's also a 7-volume box set that should be available from Viz currently. And there should be single volumes as well. If you only want to get the first one, it'll just be a later edition than this version that you're seeing on the cover. What's it about? In a long ago war, humankind set up a devastating ecological disaster. Thriving industrial societies disappeared. The earth is slowly submerging beneath the expanding sea of corruption, an enormous toxic force that creates mutant insects and releases a miasma of poisonous spores into the air. At the periphery of the sea, tiny kingdoms are scattered on tiny parcels of land. Here lies the Valley of the Wind, a kingdom of barely 500 citizens, a nation given fragile protection from the sea, decaying seas poisons by the ocean's breezes, and home to Nausicaa, a young princess with an empathic bond with the giant Omu insects and animals of every creed. She fights to create tolerance, understanding, and patience among the different empires and different human collectives, I guess you could say, that are fighting over the world's remaining precious natural resources. Why did I pick this? First off, Miyazaki is a legend of Japanese storytelling. This offers a blend of fantasy adventure with scientific undertone and creates a world where we can talk about the issues like world pollution without being politically charged or overly preachy. I wish more American writers would learn how to do this. Got a very well-rounded female lead in Nausicaa who can be a good role model for young female readers while not alienating the boys. The boys will cheer for the girl in this. It's not like, oh my gosh, she took care of it, I want to read it. Yeah, they're going to cheer for her. Yeah, she's got that kind of tomboy mentality, but not really, because it's Japanese culture doesn't really. It's not that there isn't tomboys in Japanese culture, but it's a different type of how they perceive themselves as masculine,
Right.
than what we call tomboys here in America. I also prefer to get the preteens and teens the books rather than the anime. But if you can't find the book, seek out the anime DVD film, and you'll get a good experience from that as well. What do you think about that one, Chris?
I think it sounds really interesting. Yeah, fantastic. It's almost like anime Waterworld, I guess. Maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
something like that.
All right. Here's your next one.
All right, this is the Scary Book of Christmas. Publisher Cider Mill Press. Editor curator Tim Rayborn. Genre Christmas Yuletide mythology. Publication date November 14th, 2023. What this is about. Dasher, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most petrifying Christmas figures of all? Not all children fear just a lump of coal in their stocking. Discover the terrifying Yuletide fables, folk tales, and folklore that have horrified kids and adults for generations during the holiday season. Outside of the heartwarming Christmas tales we all know and love, there are an abundance of frightening stories to chill all who hear them to the bone. Discover folklore from all corners of the world, including Krampus, which is Austria, Slovenia, Croatia, and northern Italy, a demonic half-goat monster who drags chains and whips bad children with birch sticks, or stuffs them in a sack to take them away. The Kalikatazari, something like that, right? Greece, Bulgaria, Serbia, and Turkey, goblins who come out during Advent to cause mischief. Pierre Fautard, France, Belgium, Switzerland, St. Nicholas's eternal cannibal manservant who deals with naughty children.
Yum, yum.
Hans Trapp, Alsace-Lorraine, France, who roams the countryside disguised as a scarecrow and goes door to door on Christmas looking for children to feast upon. We got Gryla, Iceland, the giant ogre who emerges from her cave on Christmas to hunt children and cook them into stew. Mary Lude, Wales, a creature with a horse's skull and a long cloak that is followed by a group of chanting people. And we have Frau Perchta, Austria and Bavaria, who slits the bellies of bad children and stuffs them with straw. These tales are sure to leave you wishing for the Grinch. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
And this is Yuletide, which I've been reviewing. This is Perchta.
Very, very cool.
So that's what that character looks like. So that's what that whole book is about. It's that whole particular thing. So that's one of the reasons why we're like hoping to get that done that way. But all right, let's see. Why did you get this one, Chris?
Yeah, come on now, folks. Y'all know me, right? I just love me some horror. And I just had to bring in the monster lore of Christmas and Yuletide misgivings. I mean, how can you celebrate the season without acknowledging the horror of it all? At least these stories are much more fun to read than listening to your relatives tell your kids about the horrors of having to go Christmas shopping at the mall before the internet. Yeah, the horrors of Black Friday. The cover on this just drew me right in. And of course, I'm all about the not so traditional stories of Christmas. So
yeah, well, I mean, these are traditional, but
I mean American tradition.
Well, yeah, well, that's the funny part. America is the melting pot of all these other cultures.
Right?
Why do we lose all of these elements that are still there? If you go over to Europe, they talk about all this stuff regularly every year. They don't just, this is all part of it, because I mean, it's interesting because they do that to show you, I mean, behave or you're going to get carried away in a bag and cook for stew. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's forgotten in the United States because it's not commercially viable. Yeah. Christmas in the United States is the feel good, spend lots of money, nothing can go wrong holiday. So I don't
know. I mean,
think about these sorts of. Oh, go ahead.
We can make so many horror movies for Christmas out of these stories.
Absolutely.
And they would make big money.
They would, but in the mainstream, though, it's still not commercially viable.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it's silly. But alrighty, let's see what else we've got. We've got Unico Book 1, Awakening for $12.99 from publisher Scholastic, created by Tezuka again. Written by Samuel Satine based off the ideas of Osamu Tezuka. Artist is Guri Hiru. Genre is fantasy. This was released in August of 2024. This series reimagines the story of the unicorn Unico, who spreads love but is banished by the jealous goddess Venus, following him as he's saved by the West Wind and hunted across time to be destroyed by the evil jealous goddess. This volume introduces Unico to a cat named Chloe and an old woman, leading to new trouble with Venus. Aimed at middle grade readers ages 8 to 12, it's presented in a Western-style left-to-right format for American reader sensibility. If you remember Kimba the Lion animated series from the 1960s by Tezuka, you're going to automatically see the thematic similarities with this, only modernized and more fantasy-driven, whereas Kimba was more jungle animals and normal humans. But this offers some more mythological elements, and since it's increasingly difficult to pick up the classics by Tezuka, for young readers, this modernized version of the concept is a reasonable and affordable option. And I think it'll also go for fans from My Little Pony.
Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely.
And I think it could go for fans of stuff like,
Care Bears?
Pardon?
Care Bears?
No. I was trying to think. It's a certain cartoon with horses, but it's
My
not,
Little Pony?
No, we already said My Little Pony. It's a different one, but I'll think of it after the show probably. It's not that important. But yeah, it's a good thing to start with. And then we have the Usagi Yojimbo Saga, book 1, trade paperback. Publisher Dark Horse Comics, creator Stan Sakai, genre anthropomorphic action adventure. I'm not sure what this first printing version was released, but the second printing was available as of March 2021. Celebrate Stan Sakai's beloved rabbit Ronin, Miyamoto Usagi, in his epic trek along the warrior's path in this volume of the comic saga. Second printing features brand new original cover art by Stan Sakai, and I'll show you that in a moment. Beginning with over 600 pages of Usagi's Essentials Adventures, this collects Usagi Yojimbo Volume 2, number 1 through 16, and Volume 3, number 1 through 6. The second printing also has a full color cover gallery that the first printing does not include. And there's the second cover, printing cover. Why did I pick this? Well, Stan Sakai is the other American manga treasure. I mean, he's been around for over 40 years. This character's been around American comics for nearly 40 years. But it sadly remains one of the industry's most underrated titles. Oh, don't get me wrong. It gets all the awards. The industry acknowledges this book for exceptional quality, but retailers and fans tend to overlook it. This series should be matching or surpassing the sales of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Period. There's no exception. There's no reason why it shouldn't. The book has the cute bunny wabbit and all his cool-looking friends for the girls to geek out over, and the boys should be into all the samurai and ninja fighting action. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right?
Right. And, of course, Usagi has been, his guest starred in the Turtles.
Yeah, as well. So there's no reason why this book should be selling at least as well. But, it sells like a third. Go figure. Oh, almost sneezed there. Anyway, I do consider this the best comic produced in America today, overall. And I'll always recommend this book for new readers, no matter what time of the season. But what better time than for Christmas, right?
Right. And yeah, if you know Raven, he's a huge Usagi Yojimbo fan. So,
yeah. So anyway, that is our list of last minute gifts for this year. John didn't have time to join us, unfortunately. He might come up with something tomorrow. I don't know. I don't think he will. But anyway, I don't know if we're even going to do the episode, our regular scheduled thing tomorrow. because of midnight situation. I go tomorrow, call him in the morning, see how he's doing. But I don't know what I'm going to hear.
Right.
So if for some reason things take a turn for the worse, and then I probably won't do the episode tomorrow night. But if everything's okay, then John and I will be on. Friday, however, presume everything's going okay. Chris and I will talk about our favorite holiday Christmas movies. And believe it or not, Chris actually not only understood the assignment, he got it to me today.
What a fish?
Yep. Oh, you want a fish? Okay, I'll get you a fish. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on Friday, and then Saturday, I need to go back. My computer is being silly as usual. There we go. Let me share this. It keeps putting us down there in the bottom. I don't know why, but okay. This is our sponsor this week, and that is, of course, Scratch and Spin Records, Comics, Movies, and Games. And this Saturday from 12 to 3, I'm supposed to be there as guest artist. And that is tentative now because of the cat situation. I'm hoping everything just does fine and will be fine, but you just don't know at this point, so we'll wait and see. But I'm going to spend the rest of the night getting tomorrow's episode ready and Friday's episode ready and getting art done. And the one good thing I can say is with the cat at the vet, I will not be distracted.
Right. No one looking for cuddles.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what's going on for this weekend. And what are you doing this weekend? You got anything going on with Dave?
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I take it you guys are coming back until January at this point.
Probably not.
Yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, that's the show for tonight. And I don't know why all of a sudden. There we go. That's what we want. They got an extra camera in here, an extra frame now that was off somehow. I don't know why they did that. Oh, I see why now. Okay. Anyway, if you want to reach out to me on social media, Facebook, Lewis.BrightRaven, at the silly Twitter X monster mess, Lewis BrightRaven 2. Watch and find my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You can find Chris's at deviantart.com/fatboy73. You've been watching Quoth Raven, Lewis BrightRaven exclusively on YouTube. And if you want to reach out to us, suggestions of topics you want us to talk about, that sort of thing, Quoth Raven LBR72@gmail.com is the primary address. And if I don't get back to you, try Lewis BrightRaven at yahoo.com. And if you want to reach out to Chris directly, it's ghthrowingstones@gmail.com. Let's see. We've got one. Are you going to be busy Tuesday next week, you think?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. We might see you guys one more time next week before the holidays type thing. Because I know that we're not going to have a manga on Monday. We might do Tuesday crowdfunding and industry talk right before Christmas, because I know people want us to talk about Diamond going into chapter 7 now,
Yes.
and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that a little bit, but not that there's a whole lot, but we will. Anyway, so in the meantime, we hope you guys stay safe and have a festive holiday season. We'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow and Friday, but if not, you guys know why. And I'll give a short, brief video statement if midnight's going away. But anyway, that's all we got for you tonight, and we'll see you guys next time. So, quote the Revan, nevermore.
Aw.